Well, thank you very much. It's great to see everybody here, and this is my first Metal Investor Forum, so I think it's a great time for all of you to hear the story of Banyan Gold. I became the CEO of this company in 2016. We've spent the last 3-4 years really getting down to the hard work, and I think now is the time to get out and tell the story because we've got lots of exciting news ahead. This picture is just our project site. In this image, you can see where our Ormac project is. That bright green area in the front is actually where the airstrip resource is. And notice in this image that we've got fabulous roads, highways, and even a power line. You may not be able to see it, but I'll see it a bit better in the next images. But that infrastructure is invaluable and really is important for our project. And I'll figure out how to make that work.
I think it's pointing down at the that. That's
okay. So, our Ormac project, we're located next to the Yukon's two newest miners, Victoria Gold's Eagle Gold Mine, and if any of you saw their third quarter results, they're really starting to cash flow some significant money now. We are the same age of mineralization as Victoria Gold. Similarly, we envision that our project could be an open pit heap leach mineable project, and you'll see our grades are fairly similar to theirs, and we're advancing our project very quickly. We're also beside Alexco, high-grade silver mine right beside us. It's a little bit older mineralization, or younger mineralization, but also our property does have some prospectivity for silver. We're not focused on that right now. Our management team, we have a real track record of success. We're closely aligned with our two neighbors, Victoria Gold and Alexco, and you'll see that in our management team and our board. And we similarly to Victoria Gold think we have multi-million ounce potential, and I think you'll see that in our images when we start to talk about our exploration program. That fabulous infrastructure, this is a tier 1 jurisdiction where you can actually permit a mine. We've got very good relationships with the First Nation, as do Victoria Gold and Alexco. And what's the best evidence that you can actually permit a mine? It's that 1 or 2 has been permitted recently, and we have 2 that have been permitted right beside us, one which is also a heap leach mine. So I think that's really important in today's society is understanding, one, the security of your project, because I think there are some jurisdictions which are risky, as well as whether or not you can get a project permitted. We put out this resource in 2020, about 36,000 meters of drilling ago, and we're well on our way to advancing this project. We're well capitalized, being funded into 2023 for our G&A, and we're unique. I have 3 drills turning today. We're really excited about our productivity right now, and we are a year-round story. We plan to take about a month off in January, but other than that, we will be year-round. So myself, I told you I became the CEO in 2016. I'm a geotechnical engineer, spent 20 years running a private gold production company, as well as doing consulting and everything from First Nations to environmental assessment. You'll see we've got a very skilled team with a diverse set of skills. We just brought on a new VP of Corporate Communication. Jasmine is here, and she'll be at the booth, along with Valerie, so feel free to pick up our materials from them. And you'll see in our board of directors, Mark Aranto has been with Victoria Gold since they were started on their journey, and I envision we're about where Victoria Gold was 8 years ago, and hopefully we can get to where they are faster. And that's a forward-looking statement, but I'm pretty excited about where we're going. Steve Burleton, he's been very successful. He was with Richmont when they got taken out by Alamos, as well as the CEO of GT Gold, and took it down the path along with a lawyer, and Clint Nauman is an advisor to us. There's nobody who knows the geology better than the 2 miners right beside us, and you'll see there are shareholders. Victoria Gold at 12%, and remember just recently they had that investment by Corp, Alexco at 7%, and a Cisco at 5%. And you'll notice insider ownership is 8.4%. And I will mention that I'm a 5.5% shareholder. And I'm the 3rd CEO, so I wasn't there for any founder's stock, even though that was 15 cents. So I've purchased all of that in the market. And since I became CEO in every financing, and in this last financing to maintain my position, I had to put in over $500,000. So that's one thing that I look for when I'm investing. How much does management have invested? And if you check my SETI filings, you'll see I've invested over $850,000 in the last 18 months. So we're currently sitting with $15 million in the bank. That last financing was at 28 cents, 35-cent flow-through, and 38 cents. We're currently trading at 30 to 31. We're starting to get some attention from analysts. Sprott's been covering us, His Brock Sailor's price target is 55 cents. Richard Gray's been a shareholder for a long time, and we believe Cormark will start to pick us up fairly soon as well. And of course, Gwen has been following our story and invited me to this conference. So here's where that resource is located, and here you can see that infrastructure. Main highway, year-round maintained through the left-hand side there. Brand new power line. It was just replaced and was energized in January of 2021, so it's a 139 kilovolt line. It's only energized to half its capacity. They don't need to until they get another customer. The road with the height switchback is the government road that goes to Victoria Gold. It's just 40 kilometers down the road. The cleared square is actually their substation. So we've got power, roads, even cell phone service here, and we're a quick 30-minute drive to the main airport in Mayo. That resource that we put out, it is a pit-constrained resource. You can see the prices, $1,500 gold. We used in that to be fairly conservative. The deepest part of the pit is 200 meters, so we do envision this as very similar to Victoria Gold, roughly 1-to-1 strip ratio. And just to remind you, Victoria Gold's life of mine grade in their feasibility study, 0.63, with 74% recoveries. That, if you increase our cutoff grade by 50%, it remains a pit-constrained mineable deposit, but the grade goes up to 0.65. And of course, we've drilled 36,000 meters since we put out that resource, and the original resource only had 56 holes into it. So lots of exciting news flow to come to us. We've drilled 120, we will have drilled 120 holes. We've still got 90 that will be pending in the coming months and into the next year. That infrastructure is actually going to get better around us. The Yukon government committed in February that they're going to spend $63 million upgrading the main highways and roads. That's largely to support our two mining neighbors, but very exciting for us. I already talked about the power line, and there's actually fiber optic cable which goes from that substation out to Victoria Gold. So I've never been in a location that had that fabulous of infrastructure, and it's partly what enables us to continue to drill into the fall and winter. So here you can see our main project area. Now we have 254 square kilometers in this area. We are focused on this area that's roughly 5 kilometers by 4 kilometers, so a very small fraction of our property, located right in the heart of that infrastructure. The airstrip resource there to the north, we focused our drilling last year on that. We drilled 10,000 meters there, starting with that original 774,000 ounces, which is in about 1.2 kilometers of strike length. We've extended it by 300 meters to the west and to the east and down dip. Powerline is where we've focused all of our drilling this year, or the majority of our drilling this year, and that's because we're seeing it grow so rapidly. We put in a 100-meter space grid, and 100 meters is a very wide space grid. Here the mineralization is in sheeted veins, very similar to Victoria Gold, but horizontal, and we can see 6 stack layers. We know it likely goes to depth, but because we're focusing on the open pit mineable potential portion, we're only focusing on that top 200 meters. And we're growing this area very quickly. We have 3 drills turning there today, one on the northeast of Powerline, one on the east side, and then you can see a star-like pattern in the center, which we're drilling a little bit of infill to really understand the variography and how this deposit is occurring. So all of that news flow will come out in 2022. Oryx Hill is that target that's off to the east. We drilled 18 holes there, which are still pending. We think there's the potential for another near-surface resource there. So we're fully funded for our drill program next year. I've already working on my drill contracts. We have our 3 drills on site, and they're not going anywhere. We've hired our crews for next year, and which I think gives us a huge advantage. We've secured our pricing, we've secured our equipment and our people, which I think will be in competition next year. We plan to drill 30,000 plus meters, put out a resource in Q2. Probably won't include all of our drilling because the labs are quite delayed. That will just give us more news flow. We do intend to start a PEA, and we're doing the other really important things to advance our project from the baseline environmental to the metallurgy. There's just another view of that area and our drill plans. You can see the airstrip there to the north and the soil anomaly associated with it. Powerline's a blind discovery and a new discovery we made in 2019. So this isn't a project that's been sitting around and drilled by multiple people. This really is a new discovery, and we believe this area has the potential to host 3 to 5 million ounces. I think in the Yukon, that's the number you need to get to. 3 million ounces, I think, is what will make you a very attractive target, or what you need for a project to do what Victoria Gold did, which was to build it. Some great results there, and you can see the drilling that we're planning to do. Oryx Hill, we've got both diamond drilling and RAB drilling to support that there's potentially a resource there. Again, other key parts of advancing that project, that metallurgy, can you recover the gold? The bottle rolls that we put out in February, 90% average recovery from both the oxide and the sulfide. That's because the host rock is the sulfide. The mineralization actually intruded into a sulfide host rock. We've started some conceptual mine planning, and that helps us design our baseline environmental programs and where we might want to drill to not find mineralization when we want to make that decision. And that community engagement and working with the First Nation is something that we've ramped up this last year and continue to do next year. Very important. So, you know, companies re-rate for a couple reasons. One is a total number of ounces, and in a strong gold market, which I think is coming, we should re-rate when we put out that resource, and as people start to see the results that we put out, just on quantity of ounces, but then the quality, you know, the value per ounce. If we're getting $50 per ounce in the ground today, by doing that metallurgy work, the conceptual planning, making sure that we're on side with the First Nation so the project can be permitted, Tier 1 jurisdiction with infrastructure, those are value adds which should increase our dollars per ounce. So that's the story. Exciting news flow ahead for us. You know, we are seeing inflation and supply chain challenges in the Yukon, and that's why we've secured everything from our pickup trucks to our drills, so that we know what our costs will be. Being funded and having 3 drills turning and a great crew, we're really set up for a great 2022, and hope that you all follow the story. Look for that major catalyst in Q2 with that resource update, and then we'll get on with looking at some economics with that PEA. So please come talk to us today or tomorrow. We'd love to tell you the story.